Man, I was really pleased today. I thought today's practice was it proved to me that they were doing some work over the summer, and I was really pleased with our effort. I thought our execution was night and day different than where it was when we first started last year in October. That first practice, you're kind of like, oh, we got a ways to go, and we kind of built and got better as the camp went on. But I felt this was a tremendous start for our team today. It was good to get some guys back on the field. With Nate Landman, recovering from his injury and him getting some reps and showing those leadership qualities that he provides for our program. It was good to see a lot of those transfer players, Max Ray, Noah Fensky, all those guys kind of get entrenched and seeing them work. So it is definitely a better football team than we had a year ago. So we're going to build off today. It was really positive. I thought we had an extra period for our freshmen and young players that just got here to kind of get them some work. And there's some talent in that group. Obviously, they're well behind in terms of what they know, but we'll get those guys caught up. We got 24 more practices to get that ready, and I think we'll have a really good product when it's all said and done. So, any questions?
You mentioned the improvement, and how much have you ratcheted up what you're trying to get done in fall camp as this year as opposed to next year?
Well, today was a big testing ground to just let me know what they've done over the summer. And we have 5 big installs in the course of camp, on the defense and on the offensive side. So we have 5 strong days of just each day is a lot of information going in. So these first 5 or 6 practices are going to be challenging practices because what we did today not necessarily will be what we are practicing tomorrow. So it's going to be a test from day 1 to day 2 and to day 3. And given what I saw today, there was a great deal of leadership in our practice with guys talking and communicating on both sides of the ball. I would say last year this time it was crickets because no one wasn't sure. It was like, well, are we doing the right thing? And those types of things. So it should be a really smooth progression as we go. I think these guys have put their time into it, and we're going to build it off of that and get these guys ready to be tuned up for that first game.
What
Last
new?
week when we talked to you today, this was your first full off season, obviously with this group. Do you feel like there's just more comfort from the player standpoint, from the coach's standpoint, that you did that full off season, and this is just kind of a continuation of what you've done rather than a restart?
Absolutely. You can see that, and there's confidence right from the start, and there's a good knowledge base within each one of our veteran players. They have a good feel of what our expectations are and in their play and in their execution, and I was very pleased that way. And it should get better. I know they felt good, coming off the fields, thinking that was a really good practice, and that's something that when you're a player on a team and you know that you have really good people and personnel to help you be successful, and you have a good practice at the start, I think that instantly kind of validates their confidence. And I think these guys they're heading in the right direction for sure.
How was quarterback relative to what you expected and what you got?
I would say that was why I'm smiling. I thought both Brendan and JT really performed well today. You can tell they were smooth in their transition, going through progressions. They were authoritative with what their roles are on the offense, and I didn't think they made any mistakes. They might have missed a throw here and there, but I would say overall, I thought they showed great command and great presence today.
Karl, I'm curious about Jack Lamb. Is he starting camp here at 100% health, or is there anything under the sun with respect to that hip injury he had at Notre Dame that might be holding him back, even if just a little bit?
I don't think anything's holding him back. He's 100%. He's 100% the whole summer. He's in our leadership group, and I think that tells you a lot about a guy that's new to your program. He just gets here really in May, and he entrenched himself in this football team, and they respect who he is. That tells you right there that they have a lot of respect for what he's done in such a short period of time, and he has no issues from what I see. He's running around, and he's in great condition. Like, I think our team is in great condition just overall with what our strength staff has done. But he's kind of fell in line with what everyone else is doing, and he's going to impact us for sure defensively.
You mentioned Max Ray there briefly. What have you seen from him since he came into your
a lot of those leadership qualities too. But some of these guys, they start the first week not saying much, just trying to just get the work done. And I think that's the best way to start when you're new anyway, is just to go in there and work hard. And I think your teammates notice that, and I think that creates that level of respect when guys are new here and they come in here and they're working their tails off, and so they recognize that. And he's one of those guys that he's done a nice job. He's a good-looking guy. He obviously, in terms of his height and length, we don't have anybody quite like that, and we're hoping that he gets entrenched and doing some really great things for us, when we get going.
Obviously, your quarterback battles the two guys.
Yes.
But how much further along have you seen Drew and Jordan get from the spring? In fact, they were with you guys having a summer now.
It's different now than the spring. The spring, I was probably equally giving everyone reps, in terms of ones, twos, and threes throughout the whole practice. We only had one period today where it's just the threes. And so those guys didn't get many of the main reps of what we're doing offensively and defensively, because we're getting ready to play. And not that he's not part of that process, but we got to get those other two, their reps and things that they need to, to tune up. But I think Drew's going to be a really, really good player when it's all said and done. He's more confident now than where he was last spring. You can tell there's growth there, but he still needs to continue to pick up the pace. I think he's playing a little slower than I would like, and he knows that. But I think that will come with more reps, and his confidence continues to grow.
As you go through this quarterback competition, what are kind of the big indicators you're looking for, oh, this guy might be taking an edge, might be my starter?
That's a day-to-day process. Really, every day is going to be, we scrutinize every rep, and whether it's a mental mistake or a missed throw or a misread, it's like we're tabulating every aspect for both of those guys, because it's kind of that kind of competition with those two, with Brendan and JT. So they both have embraced the competition, which I like. They both add different qualities to the offense. And both of them can be very dynamic players. And first and foremost, they're great teammates. That's what I like. They're into it. They're into this football team. They want to lead. They want to do things the way that we're orchestrating ourselves to be. And so, but it's one of those things. In answering your question, we're accounting for everything in terms of that evaluation, because it's that tight.
I know you can't rush the process, but is there a time frame where you perhaps kind of like to have it decided?
It'll be somewhere towards the end of camp. We'll probably make some type of announcement. I haven't pinpointed a day as to what that day would be, but it would be definitely before the first game, and so that guy, whoever we decide it's going to be, he can take the majority of the reps to get ready for us, in our first game.
Even this is a sign of normalcy, I guess.
Absolutely, cameras, everything. It's nice to see.
To what degree are you back to normalcy, and are you more comfortable about that phenomenon right now?
I'm confident and happy that it's normal right now. I'm concerned about if there is an issue about us going back. That's my concern. So we have to do our due diligence about wearing masks for people who aren't vaccinated, and really trying to take care of each other from a day-to-day standpoint. The difference last year to this year, that was something that we were listening and hearing about that changed. It seemed like every day it was something different, a new law or a new policy or something like that. So that scrutiny is over. So that's what helps this process feel like it's normal. But there is that concern because it's still there.
You have contingencies?
Do we have contingencies? Oh yeah, we always have contingencies, because we're going to play, and we're going to find a way to play with what we have. And so those contingencies are always ready and available. But I'm trying to be more of a positive thinker about it's not going to be a factor, and that we're going to hopefully get over the hump by the time we start in September.
You talked in the winter and spring about free agency and change and the constants. How important is having somebody like Nate when you have that many new faces who are young and who aren't young, but you're trying to get them integrated into what you want to do, to have a guy like that?
Well, it's, he's done a great job with his leadership, but we're not asking for just one guy to help lead, in our program. And, we have probably close to 20 guys that have the same type of qualities that really have stepped forward to be leaders on our football team. Nate is one of the ones he's a key component to that group. But we don't want to put all that pressure on Nate. You know, it's got to be some others that have to come to everyone's aid in any circumstance to help us be as good as we can be. But he's definitely very instrumental for us because he's our most proven player, and he's you know, and he has the production to prove it. So he's established that clout, you know, in terms of you know, his experience, and it's just great to have him back, and he's practicing and he feels great, and you know, hearing his voice and, you know, barking out calls and adjustments on the defense, it's very comforting to me as a head coach, knowing that when that guy's out on the field, I think we have a pretty good chance of being an effective defense.
Just one or two more, guys. Karl, do you know what your vaccination numbers are for staff and players?
We're over 90%. I think we're like 92%. You know, in terms of our football team, I think our staff is probably 97%. You know, there's only a few. There's some people that, you know, just like you see even in the normal people way of life, of guys who have made the decision to get the vaccine, that have had their first dose and now they got to get their second dose, and that's 2 or 3 weeks later. So we have a number of you know, personnel people and a couple players that are in that scenario too. So, but we're in pretty good shape. You know, we're probably higher than most, you know, in our conference.
Do you have a take on any of the realignment chatter now that it comes out again? You see that it's above your pay grade, I know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you've seen everything, so now you're seeing more of everything.
I like what our commissioner, you know, when we had a chance to meet with him in our meetings and the media day, you know, he's so much more of an optimist about our situation, our conference, where we're headed as a conference. He has a great vision about where we can be and where we're going to become. And that struck me, and you guys knew that because it's the comments that I made at media day, that he knows what we need to do. And he looks at this as opportunity for our conference, not as woe is us. He looks at this more as an opportunity of us getting a chance to bolster our conference, and maybe with some addition of people coming into our conference. So we'll see. You know, but like you said, I'm not putting too much thought into that. I got 120 guys that I got to worry about out here, but I feel good that our commissioner he's thinking along the line of really elevating the recognition and the establishments of the Pac-12.
One more for Coach.
With how last year was and that wonky off season, how critical for you is it to have had the spring, the summer? Now you're having a full real camp to establish the culture you're establishing now that you're in your second year as a coach.
It's critical for me just because I feel the foundation has finally been, you know, it's curing. It's now done. It's been laid. You know, we've made it as strong as possible, and it's a good foundation, you know, in our team and in our program. So there's a great comfort in knowing that they know what the expectations are. They know how we handle ourselves within our program and the expectations of that. So it's very comforting to see that they've kind of bought into that. But more importantly, they've bought into each other. That's, you know, I always tell them I don't play the game. I'm the guy sitting on the sideline in the white, painted white, you know, and I don't play the game. They got to ultimately become and meld themselves to being a great football team. I'm just trying to guide them in the process.
Thanks,
All right.
Coach.